Good morning, Skyzone family. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Don Vogue, and I work for a company called Instaply. Instaply provides text and messaging services to your guests and to your teams to really help drive party bookings and improve guest experience. With that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through our backend user interface today, show you a little bit about how to receive inbound text messages, respond to said text messages, follow up with said text messages, and use all the other bells and whistles of our system. At the end of the presentation, if you guys have any follow-up questions regarding the service or how to get the most out of it, please don't hesitate to give me a call. So jumping right in, I'm going to switch to one of our current park users, Skyzone Columbia. On their main page, you'll see at the bottom right here a little text us now button. If I click on this button and type in my question, thinking about booking a party, and then I hit the little arrow, it'll prompt me for my cell phone number. I'm going to pop mine in. And then I'm going to hit this little blue arrow again. The message that responds is, "Thanks for texting me, agent. We'll get back to you shortly." I have a little desktop notification indicating that I have a new message. And when I pop on here, my message will appear immediately in the waiting column. So when I click on this message as a Skyzone user, it's going to open up an entire thread. It'll have all previous conversations that I may or may not have had with the park in the past. So you can just disregard these. But you'll notice that I wrote thinking about booking a party, and then I got an immediate response on my cell phone that says, "Thanks for reaching out to Skyzone Columbia. One of our friendly guest service agents will be with you shortly." To respond to said message, super simple. Jump in the message customer box, type in, "Let's get your party booked." I can then use any type of emoji that I want. We have a full emoji suite here. I'm going to go with just a basic happy face. And I can also attach any type of files if that's some type of picture that you want to include, whether it be a flyer or other promotional material. And I can also include what's called a canned response. And these are pre-populated responses to frequently asked questions. When I pop this open, you'll see Skyzone Columbia has a number of Glow add-ons, ticket availability, other pre-populated responses. If I click on any one of these, all of that text will immediately pop into the response that I'm sending to the guest. And then when I hit this little arrow, surprise, surprise, a text message is going to go out. That's as easy as it gets to respond to inbound guest text messages. So it's a very, very simple process to use and to train. Going from left to right, though, I can basically search for any previous customers. So if I want to find out, if I wanted to reply to that customer who just texted me in, I can pop in a specific number, 4138. Oops. 204-7138. Perfect. Pop that conversation open at any point in time. I can also send outbound text messages. So if I have someone, a previous guest cell phone number, and they've given me permission to actually text them, I can simply pop in their number here, and that'll open up another screen where you can immediately send a text message. With that in mind, the only other major thing I wanted to show you on the right-hand side here was what we call an invisible thread. This invisible thread is incredibly useful for delineating what exactly the customer wants from the park. So in this case, I was thinking about booking a party. And you'll notice in past conversations with other parks, the team has basically made a simple input here that says party inquiry. That's just a great reference for them to know that the person that texted in is looking to book a party, so they can ideally follow up with that person in the future. In addition, if I want to message any colleagues or other people on my team to get them involved in the conversation as well, I can do that here. By clicking on this @ function, I can choose from any other people on my team. I'll use Alex as an example, to just simply send a quick text message to him saying, "Hey, Alex, can you jump into this conversation?" Alex, thanks for helping with this demo. Again, Emoji Suite works as the attachments. If I send this, he's going to get a little message internally in the system letting him know that he should jump into this conversation. Very, very easy to respond to inbound text messages. And again, this desktop application is fantastic for in park or at home. We also have a mobile application that can be just as effective if you guys are moving around. With that said, the last thing that I want to show you here is a simple little quick function that says how to change a customer's number to an actual name. So if you know the name of the guest and want to make it a little personal, you can simply click this little edit button here, type in their name. In this case, I'll use mine, and hit save. That will basically make sure that anytime this customer texts you back, the name will populate first along with their cell phone number. And then finally, on this front page, we've got this little feedback button. So if for any point in time you have questions about the service, or you just want to, let us know if there's something wrong or something you don't understand, you can type in any message here and hit send, and this will go directly to our development team, who will get back to you with an answer within 48 hours. So a great little feedback tool. Finally, as it pertains to setting up your actual account, we have this little administration tab. Keep in mind, this is an administration aggregate account for all the Sky Zones. If you have a single park, you'll only see your park, or if you have a call center and host multiple parks, you'll definitely see a number of different parks in this setup. But let's stick with Columbia for an example. I can search this by just typing in Columbia. This is normally what an individual park would see. It'll give you a total number of agents that you have at the store, and then a number of little icons here that'll help with the store setup and give you a little information on how best to use the service. The first one here is editing the store profile. If I click on this little icon, it'll give me the address of the entire store along with my text-enabled phone number. So this is the prepaid text number that we purchased on your behalf that is going to be the number that people receive text messages from. Normally, if someone calls this number directly, it'll reroute to whatever number that you currently have on your website. Or if you set up your interactive voice response, it'll go to that number as well. We always show this and highlight this number simply because we want you to market it as far and wide as you can. Anytime you're doing a Facebook post or any type of other email marketing, let people know that you're quote unquote text friendly. The more that you publish this number, the more people are going to text you, the better it's going to be for everybody. So this is where you'll find your text-enabled number. Secondarily, here we have a little Manage Employees tab. Any new employee who you want to add to have access to this software can be added simply here, so long as they have an @skyzone.com email address. By simply clicking their email address in this box and hitting send, they'll be sent an email invitation to create their own account. If they don't have an @skyzone.com email address, please just send us their first and last name to don.vogue@instapply.com, and I'll create an account for them. Moving along, we've got these automatic message tabs here. And so basically what happens is anytime someone uses that little widget on your website, they'll receive this message immediately back. So this message says, again, thanks for reaching out to Sky Zone Columbia. One of our friendly guest service agents will be with you shortly. You can edit this message to your taste at any point in time by simply deleting the message here, typing in what you want, and simply hitting save. Excuse me. So that message will always populate when someone comes via text message or via call, or if they text that number directly. And then finally, at the bottom here, we have these outside of business hours messages. These are messages that are set up so when someone texts you and you're not working, they're going to get a little bit of a different response. So in this case, Sky Zone Columbia says, thanks for reaching out to Sky Zone Columbia. We're not available for text at the time, but we promise to get back to you just as soon as we're back. So setting expectations for customers when they text is fantastic because, again, if someone calls you after hours and no one picks up the phone, the likelihood of them leaving a message is actually pretty low. But when they text you after hours, you're going to get their question first via text in our user interface, and then you're going to send them this message, which will set expectations upon when they should expect a text message back. So you're never missing a question, and the customer knows that they're not going to get an immediate response simply because you're not working. So you can define hours of operation to send this message by simply adding new working hours, clicking on a start time, which is the AM time, call it 8 in the morning, the end time, which is the PM time, and associating any days with that window. So if someone sends a message to you, say at 9 a.m., they would basically hear Sunday 9 to 8 o'clock at night. If someone texts this business, they're before 9 o'clock in the morning or after 8 o'clock at night, they're going to get this different message. And finally, we've got this little bank holiday feature here. If you want to have an entire day where people are getting the message that letting them know that you're currently closed, you can simply add a bank holiday by typing in the date here, choosing it, and that will make sure that in this case, December 25th, no one who texts you during that day is going to get anything other than the message saying that you're currently closed. So it's a really simple way to keep it consistent for a 24-hour period. Finally, we've got what we call canned responses. And as I mentioned before, these are pre-populated responses to frequently asked questions that the park might get. So all of these messages can be edited or deleted or added to at any point in time, but whenever someone's text messaging, they want you to be able, or it's very valuable to have your agent be able to quickly send them what could be a little bit of a lengthy response without having to type it out. It's just a wonderful way to save time and be really thorough when it comes to the communications. With that said, that is it. Our software is super simple to train, super simple to use. And what I will say is that during this process, especially in the first 30 days, you're going to get a slow and steady volume of users that are coming in via the channel, especially as you promote the fact that you're now, again, quote unquote, text friendly. So let people know that they can text you, get excited about texting them. It's a great way to get them to be using a communication channel that they do all the time, specifically with your business. Again, as I mentioned before, if you guys have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to give me a quick shout. I love working with Sky Zones. We're about 114 parks now and hope to be at full saturation at some point in the future. My name is Don Vogue with Instapply. Thanks so much for your time and your attention.